Good morning, traders. It is Tuesday, October 26th, 2021, 7:05 a.m. I'm here in the Doubletree by Hilton in Rawilla, Rajawarna Resort. So I'm currently in Rawilla, Sri Lanka. I can't pronounce that right, so bear with me. Just look it up. It's a very beautiful place. It's like more of the jungle coastline part of Sri Lanka. And I just recently got here. I think this is my first recording since I pulled up. I've been pretty busy with moving and accommodating myself so I can get into the flow of trading again. But I'm here and I'm going to break down things a little bit differently this week. So on my Sunday videos, I'm basically going to have a breakdown, sifting through pairs and looking for setups to put on my watch list. And I'm basically not going to take any live trades until Monday or Tuesday, preferably Tuesday, because a lot of trap moves happen on Sunday, Monday, and Friday. And so if you don't set yourself up to take on those trap moves, you might get trapped into a wrong direction for the week. And that's also a trick that the market has up its sleeves. When you do come across that scenario in your trading journey, you'll be able to understand what I am talking about. Looking at Eurgbp, I just took some profits. I just got out of my trades about 30-40 minutes ago. And as you guys can see, it hit a low of the week, and I do believe price is going to continue on down. I'm going to only show you guys swing trades from now on. I want to reduce my sample size down to only winners, highly probable trades. So for the counter trend setups that I was explaining earlier on in my previous videos, I'm going to actually just discard any type of counter trend video. You guys can still watch it for technical advice, but from here on out, I'll definitely be showing only trades with the trend, and that way everyone could definitely have a better understanding at my trading activity. So Eurgbp, I've been mentioned this so many times already to you guys. It's on a long-term downtrend, and it did have a counter trend interruption for about a week, as we can see, back in about the 13th of October. So it's been about almost 2 weeks now. It had its final drive to the downside, and then prices started consolidating in a quite a big range. I mean, it wasn't huge. It was about 40 pip range for, looks like 10, 13 days after that. It's basically 2 weeks after that, the market went into a range. So I was taking counter trend setups a couple of the days. I actually caught one at the beginning of last week, and I had a bull breakout to the upside. I caught that a couple of times, and Sunday I was actually trying to go for another bullish trade because I thought that the price was going to close above 0.861 and continue to drive on up about 50 to 60 pips. Now that trade became a failure. I actually moved my stop losses higher, and I assessed the trade, and I'm going to break that down. So what had happened on Sunday was I had gotten the impression that it was going to go up because the spike to the upside was my signal to go on up after breaking this region. And that's what I had thought that price was going to do. Unfortunately, it reversed and went back into trend. So that also indicated to me that not only is that uptrend over, but it might be the resumption of this downtrend that we're currently seeing. But we have seen that a couple times in the past. We've seen price go up towards resistance and get rejected and go back down just to go back up. So this whole entire week was very tricky, and it was, like I said, it was a range bound week. I know many of you guys are probably looking at the support right now as a potential area to go long off of, but I'm actually here to tell you all that this is a new short entry, and to be honest, it's a nice 30 pip drive to the downside towards another target if you were to look at it from this perspective. Now, what I think is going to happen is price is going to make one more pullback towards the upside and then spill over or just crash, break through the support that we have marked up and continue to melt down. So at the moment, I want to take it one step at a time. We do see that there is range around 0.84385. There's a high of a range right here, and then there's a low of the range, so we're within a zone right now. And in my previous video that I did make, I did explain that Eurgbp, I marked up these ranges, and I said that we're going to take it one step at a time, so this is where it's currently at. What I'm looking for now is a solid close and break below 0.84217, which is about 8 pips away, before I can confirm that price is going to continue to drive to the downside for the rest of the day and more than likely for the rest of the week. So now that it's closed below what we now consider resistance at 0.84398, we can definitely utilize this resistance as a solid grounds of stop. So if I were to place a stop loss, it would probably be about 5 pips above this resistance, which would be about 0.8457, which would give me a solid 15 pips stop. Now, the problem about this is that I would need more maturity of this current value area before I enter any type of entry. So moving into the London session, what I would ideally like to see after a large drop like this is some sort of continuation with a nice peak. So this I wouldn't really consider as a significant high because it happened so quick and it was such a sharp move that I do believe this is going to be revisited and possibly even broken. So me personally, going into the London session and the US, I'm not going to take a counter trend in the up direction because it's moving on up, because I'm going to get whipsawed once again. Instead, I'm going to wait and monitor price when it does come to around 0.845, which is about 25 pips away, and I look for a reaction of price around that zone. Now, the second thing I could do is I could wait for price to react around 0.84405, and at that point, if it does have a solid price action setup at that point, then I can take price and mark up my stops based on that. But until then, we have to follow along and just wait. If price does continue to crash and close above the highs of 0.8472, which I'd be long out before then we could suspect price to continue to drive to the upside. According to my Sunday targets, I did have a Sunday breakdown, and at the beginning of the video, that's where I would then be looking for a long, take it on up 50, 60 pips, wait for a close, and potentially have a bullish drive. That is if it goes against me. Now, I would definitely just continue to wait. Like I said, I do not advise anyone to take any type of long entry because it will disrupt your entry and it's going to stop you out, because these are not good areas to put your stops. None of these are good areas to put your stops because it's too obvious for anyone coming in as a seller with enough money that there's stops all along here and they're weak. And that's what's going to happen, is a potential stop hunt. We just don't know when it's going to happen, and that's just the tricky part of the situation. Looking into the daily chart, I want to project my targets moving forward after my entry is hit. And we can see going into the weekly, from my previous video, I highlighted that, okay, once this most recent support gets broken, we're going to take it down about another 123 pips. So we're going to wait for price to react, get in, take a short down 123 pips to the next area of support, and that's where we're going to take our profits. Now, the next entry, it's very tricky. I don't really know based off of this, so we're going to take it one step at a time. I would like to just see price play out at that point. You see there's no real area of entry. I mean, you could wait for another 200 pip drop to the downside around 0.807 before you could take another potential entry. But that's like 200 plus pips, and there's no way some a day trader is going to have a 200 pips stop loss when that entry does come. So just bear with me, wait for price to play out. It has not done that yet. It's not the future, so we will take it one step at a time, and this is where we currently are. Now, my other trades, unfortunately, they got eliminated because they just weren't going into trend this week. I had a GJ, I had a long on GJ, and I had just recently took some profits. I bought GJ yesterday, and I took profits, and I got out of GJ because my trailing stop was hit. And so let me go to a cleaner GJ chart for you all. There we go. So we can see that price was going up from Sunday. It's a trap day, but it did lead into Monday. And then we saw price kind of congest and fall back down briefly on Monday. So this was Monday morning. And at this point, I had entered another GJ trade when price went back to the upside. And then I actually took this GJ trade all the way up about 50 pips. Apologize for this, guys. I don't have my history in front of me. But yes, so Sunday it was driving up. It pulled back, went for some retests at the highs. There's a signal that was going to continue to go up, but what invalidated the signal was the fact that price went back down. I did have a stop loss, and I believe it was around 156.5. That's where I had my stop loss, and it was basically a trailing stop, so I took profit from this chunk, and I had a trailing stop that got hit, and basically price kind of just congested for the entire remainder of that day. As we can all see right here, it just went into a small range from low to high, about 40 pips. And just now we're starting to see a break back to the upside. So for Eurgbp, for Gbpjpy, I do believe it's going to resume its bullish trend. It's actually a really, really great setup. Very clean setup right now. And so what I want to do is mark this off as well, just adding any new areas of confluence so I could continue to track this pair. If you guys didn't see my analysis on GJ, you guys can definitely go and check out my previous videos. But I want to just check and see the bounces, the areas of bounce and where it's coming from. And I then want to just mark it off with my minor support tool. And we can see that this is a very minor area of support. So I personally don't want to take this trade to the upside just yet with this type of stop loss because it's more than likely going to get hit. But then again, I don't want to take a breakout just yet because it's too soon. So what I believe is going to happen is price is going to definitely drive to the upside, but this might be a breakout. This might actually go up another 70 plus pips without having to worry about coming back to the downside. So on the 15-minute, the most recent wave that we can really see completed is from yesterday end of Asia session. That's pretty much where we were looking at, end of Asia, where that was Asia right there. Bang, 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 bang. Around London session, that's where we would like to look for some sort of placements. Now, looking at the micro scale, we could see a minor area of resistance that was formed. So I'm going to do a 2-layer markup on this. There's a minor area right there. Then there's another minor area right above here. So ideally on this time frame, I would like to see price break above 156.8 before I can consider it a solid move to the upside. And that's on a 30-minute time frame. Once we do have a break above there, we can definitely continue to tread. But also, I want to show you guys something else. Looking at the more micro scale, there was already a break of that region, as we can see, and price is technically soaring up. So if you did want to place your stop loss about 50, 60 pips away, that could be a placement. But then again, like I said, we are I'm only showing day trades from now on. So a 60 pip stop for me is too wide, and so it's just something that I would have to just wait for the market to open up, and it'll guide me in the right direction. So at that point, I'll definitely be looking for an entry up north. But right now, I'm not showing you guys swing trades. I'm only showing you guys short-term day trades. So right now, this is the smaller time frames, the 5 minute. I just explained that the price just had a new region of resistance that it broke out of. So based off of the 5 minute time frame, yes, it's bullish. And if it does go back below here, then there's a probability that price will either continue going down towards further support, and this peak will not be seen for the day. So that's a trick that always happens during the daytime when I am day trading, is that I might get into a position. I might be right when it's for the longer term, but for the immediate term, I'll be wrong, and the price will end up actually whipsawing me in the wrong direction. So like I just explained to you guys in this video just now, I will go long based off of my signal, but what's happening with price right now? It's going down. So what normally tends to happen is just a flaw within my own trading. What normally tends to happen is that price will break out to new highs given the right signal, but shortly after it'll come down, 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 and eventually you're in the wrong move for the day. But this is a counter trend, so you might be wondering, based off of my analysis with Eurgbp that I recently done, you might be wondering, wait, you said don't take counter trend trades, so wouldn't this be a good counter trend setup? Now, yes, it would be a good counter trend setup if you have that type of experience with counter trends. But me personally, with my experience in counter trends, I don't tend to last that long in a counter trend setup. So I'm sticking with the trend, and I'm just going to eyeball potential moves that are going to go against me. So right around here would be a nice entry point, about 154.45. This is a nice solid zone for a good entry to bounce off and go back up. And if I do have an entry around this area, once price does reach this area, my exit would be a few pips below 156.144. So I'll have a total of maybe like 35, 36 pip stop loss when price does come down to this region. And at that point, the market has to make up its mind. So it's either going to whip it back to the upside, completing its 70 pip move on the ATR. As we can see, the ATR is 103 pips now, so it's actually been increasing. But that's when we're going to see the hourly time frame start to take off based off of the 5 minutes. Like I said, move right here is a false breakout to the high, a nice kickback down below. I don't know, it can even go as low as 156.1. There's no doubt about it. I do believe that it's going to stop hunt this area. So let's go back into a 5 minute. I do believe that entry could be triggered right here, but I do believe it's going to come down farther below and stop hunt this region, which is why I would definitely not put my stop loss anywhere over here. This is easy for stops to be hit, but I definitely will look to put it on the outside region. So just wait for a reaction around this zone. If we see price start to crash down here with a lot of force, more than likely it's going to break these lows and keep going down. So I don't want to enter a buy limit because force could come down, trigger my entry, and then just push it farther to stop. That's one thing that could happen. Now, another thing that could happen is price could definitely drop and slow down around this area and then make some form of push towards the upside. That's where I'll be looking for a nice entry. And if it does make a push and a failure, then at least I know that it did soften and weaken up in that zone. So it will give me more confidence to enter at a lower area with a tighter stop. But those are the couple of moves that I'm going to do based off the 5 minute. Looking into the hourly now, you can see that's exactly everything. So there's the markups, 2 lines. All right. And if it does fall below here, as you guys can all see, like I said, if I have a few pips below my stop, that's 78 pips. The entry, that'll be 23 pips. At that point, we can definitely see price potentially drop farther down another 28 pips. So I said just wait, price reacts in a positive manner around this zone, then we're going to look for a buy around there. But if not, we're just going to sit on our hands. I'm going to wait for a buy around this zone right here. But at that point, that's not the best area for a buy. So my second buy would actually be below this area in this zone right here. So there's going to be a small 25 pip zone that is going to be the area where I will be looking for my long. So this is all a waiting game. And once again, if price does break to the upside, I'm not looking for that type of setup because more likely than not, it's not going to sustain. It's going to end up spilling over, kind of like how this happened. There was a break to the upside last week. Price did go up briefly, definitely was a lot of hype, definitely was a lot of excitement, 80 pips. Everyone thought it was going to, continue burst into the upside. And then what ended up happening was, the 4 hour, there's nothing for it to buy into. Looking at the daily, it's definitely bullish. We can all see that, but there was the past week where it was at a standstill. And then looking at the weekly time frame, we could see that the past week was actually just nothing. And then the week before that was the actual bull move. This tends to happen a lot. It throws off swing traders. This is why I say swing trading is cool, but it's only good when you actually know how to swing trade. And so it requires a lot of patience and waiting. And this is what I mean. Like if you were to base your longs off of a weekly, for one, you would have been sitting in a drawdown for an entire week just waiting for price to show you some sort of move against this bar. And you're still waiting in that bar. So that's what I mean. Swing trading, we're still basing our directional bias off of a swing trading approach. But now we're implementing trailing stops, entries, and orders based off of a short-term day trading approach. And that's where we're going to actually save ourselves because, a trade like this, I would definitely like to go long as a swing trader based off the weekly and just hold it. But if you hold it, what can happen is you see what happened last week. It created an area of support. Basically, if that breaks that area of support, you see 155.9. It breaks that area of support. What's going to happen next? It's going to drive 300 pips to the downside. And it could definitely halt along the way down and then start to pin its way up. But according to my price action reading, that's where it might end up heading next, 300 plus pips to the downside. That could be as fast as 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or even a week or two. We don't know, but that's why I just get out of the trade if it's not going in my direction at the end of the day. It saves me time, it saves me struggle, and to be honest, it doesn't make sense looking at a smaller scale that it could potentially drive 200 to 300 pips to the downside. So that's all I have for GJ. I definitely went a little overtime with these two pairs, 23 minutes, but I'm going to actually save gold for the next video. I'm going to just cut this short. 23 minutes is plenty of time. I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much in one video. So just rewatch this. If you are not a part of my academy right now and you would like to learn how to systematically trade a mechanical system that is proven to be successful and stand the test of time and with proven track record, then please join my academy. It's www.forexmanagement.net. And if you go to the top tabs and you click on Forex Academy, you could then be guided towards the right package for you. And I'm only going to be having my academy opened up for the next few months. I actually want to stop teaching for some time and take some time to just enjoy my life without, having the obligation of telling someone what to do when it comes to, reading my system. Sometimes you need a break, and that's what I'm going to do. So for now, I'll still be teaching for a little bit longer. And if you would like to get taught, like I said, the description is also going to be, the link is going to be in the description below. So if you just read the description, copy and paste that, it'll be a shortcut to the link. But other than that, I'll follow up with you all in the next video. I'll upload it right now.